And I'm driving back from the airport, Incheon Airport, with the owner of Train True. He's saying, "Oh yeah, Keenan's going to be there. He's going to be competing too. Keenan's looking really strong lately in training. He totaled like 925 kilograms, which is like 2,000 something." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And then I watched this video, and the guy barely missed like I think it was like 945 or something in training, or 950, but hit like 925. It was something ridiculous. So the guy is clearly strong. He's like 6'1", 6 foot, and like 228 muscle. He's the man in Korea. And it was pretty interesting. I saw the video. I'm like, like I might have to actually push this meet pretty hard if I want to win. But we'll see what happens. And it turned into literally one of the best head-to-head meets, one of the best head-to-head rivalries I've had in like the last 4 years. Yeah, so when I was in Korea, there was a guy, there were two streamers there, affluent and popular Korean streamers. And one of them, he set up a live stream for the whole meet, right? And it was awesome. A lot of people there competing, there were people watching. This live stream was massive. I want to say once the video actually was cut for the live streams, I mean those videos got like tens to like I think hundreds of thousands of views. And then like the meet video that they did specifically with me and the other competitors, name's Keenan Lee. That video got like well over a million. It's like I think it's at like 1.2 or 1.3 million views now, and it's just like they literally they literally decimated like the entire powerlifting community in terms of like reach with people. It was insane. I mean, I was shocked at how popular those videos were. I do think that it was very positive for that to happen too over in Korea, because I mean, even when I lived in Korea, I lived there for like 3 years. And so, back then there weren't really a lot of dudes that were doing like powerlifting or moving heavy weight and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of guys in like martial arts, like Taekwondo or Judo, and some other sports as well too, like badminton or whatever, or tennis. But not a lot of dudes like getting jacked, lifting heavy weights and stuff like that. A lot of them generally are lighter and smaller on average. But actually seeing a guy, the guy I competed with, that's like a superhuman, like a metahuman Korean, competing and going up against the best in the world, the best tested current lifter in the world, and actually put up like such an amazing fight, I think is really huge. Was really huge for their community, and really moved and inspired a lot of people to kind of get into it and to start training. And I mean, the powerlifting community in Korea has taken off tremendously from when I had lived there back in the day to now. So I think it's awesome for the sport. Is really the bottom line. I mean, the views, the popularity that they generated with those videos, plus seeing this huge stacked Korean dude like moving these massive weights and competing with the best in the world and hanging with the best in the world. It was just a really cool event overall, and there's a lot more to say about it for sure as we go on. Yeah, so the venue, it was at the gym. It was at a gym called Train True in Seoul, and Train True is a beautiful gym, beautiful facility. It's not huge, but a lot of spaces in Korea aren't necessarily huge anyway for the most part. It was actually a pretty nice gym, really awesome. Like if you're living in Seoul, that's an awesome place to train. I would train there like regularly. So it was set up. The gym was set up really nicely to be the venue for the meet. There was like a space that was kind of blocked off. It had like a platform, brand new chromal high power bar, row calibrated plates. There were cameras set up in different areas and different angles, so they could capture different angles of all the lifts, which was really really awesome. I mean, it was like a professional sports event, really.
Hmm.
And the people there were some spectators. I think there was a really hard cap on that, but there were somehow a lot of people in there. That gym was packed when we were competing. So not sure, but it was pretty cool, and the atmosphere was really nice too. All the people there, people in Korea are generally kind, and polite. There were a lot of really wonderful people there. They were very happy to be a part of that event. You could tell they were all invested in the powerlifting community, and they wanted to grow and they wanted to be there, and they loved, like every moment of it. I mean, it was amazing. Just how enthusiastic they were really is what
Hmm.
they had so much enthusiasm, like all of them, really. I mean, there's a lot of Koreans in Korea that speak English. So there are plenty of them spoke English pretty well, some fluently. But there were also individuals who didn't speak any English or hardly spoke English, which was okay. I mean, so were there language barriers in some instances? Yes, but at the same point in time, I've lived in Korea for 3 years, so I kind of get how to get around and stuff like that. So that wasn't really a huge concern or issue for me personally. I mean, it was crazy because when you meet people who truly respect you and admire you, and there isn't English, there's a language barrier, or maybe they can't speak English very well. I've literally had like Koreans come up to me in Korea and they would try to squeak out a sentence of English words. I really respect or, admire you. And you can tell they can't speak English, but they're trying to, say something, and they're trying to show gestures of kindness and respect and admiration. And it was amazing. It makes you feel kind of different. You're like, wow, I can literally travel halfway across the world and people, will come up to me and despite not speaking my language, will do their absolute best to have a conversation with me to some extent. And it was nice. And I really appreciated that from those people. They were very kind to me. Got to eat a lot of good Korean food and among other things. So that actually probably was pretty helpful for performance that weekend too. Had a lot of good fuel. And the food over there is really healthy and it's delicious. And, things just kind of fell into place and it worked out really well. And, I mean, despite, again, like traveling, halfway across the world, I was still able to perform, pretty well. And within the attempt ranges that I had sort of preemptively selected for the meet. So generally speaking, the plan was to go slightly lighter on each of the attempts for each lift, minus deadlift if I needed to deadlift more. So when I actually landed into Korea on the 24th, and I'm driving back from the airport, Incheon Airport, with the owner of Train True, he's saying, oh yeah, Keenan's going to be there. He's going to be competing too. Keenan's looking really strong lately in training. He totaled like 925 kilograms, which is like 2,000 something. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And then I watched this video and the guy barely missed like, I think it was like 945 or something in training, or 950, but hit like 925. It was something ridiculous. So the guy is clearly strong. He's like 6'1", 6 foot, and like 228 muscle. He's the man in Korea. And it was pretty interesting. I saw the video. I'm like, like I might have to actually push this meet pretty hard if I want to win. But we'll see what happens. And it turned into literally one of the best head-to-head meets, one of the best head-to-head rivalries I've had in like the last 4 years, which was amazing. I mean, for me, it was amazing, and it kind of reignited this other spark that I knew that I had before, but it just hasn't been the same since 2017 when I won nationals. I mean, it was kind of there when I won nationals in I think it was 2021. Yeah, when I won nationals in 2021, it was kind of there again, but it still wasn't the same because the stakes were different. Like it wasn't a head-to-head where I'm literally pulling a meet PR for the win, like by body weight. Like that is a special situation or circumstance that just doesn't come around often. 4 years from 2017 to 2020. Well, actually 5 years, 2017 and 2022. Yeah, that's a lot of meat. So this doesn't happen a lot. This is a rare occurrence. And I mean, it may become less rare in some of these future meets, honestly. But I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the competition was amazing. The competitive atmosphere was amazing. Even though it was just me and this one guy kind of going head to head, it was like a really, really, really amazing head to head battle. And that's probably why that video was also so popular. I mean, so many people were watching it. I mean, there was like this head to head battle with the number one ranked drug tested in the world, and this other dude that's in Korea. His I think his IG handle right now. But I had like said this in a group chat that he should change it to something like this. I think it's some random Korean dude. Because somebody like put out a video of him. They're like, oh, some random Korean dude competed with Ashton. And, it was funny. Yeah, but his name is Keenan Lee. He actually did USAPL 2019 Nationals. He's a dual citizen, so he actually competed at 2019 USAPL Nationals. He got fifth in the Open in 105, but he didn't compete prime time. So he kind of went under the radar and just kept training and got really good and showed up and put up, I think we put up 20, that day we put up like 2,089 pounds. Super impressive. I mean, looked like he had a little bit more for sure. I know I definitely had more for sure, but it was kind of like a chess match, playing attempts and knowing exactly what number to pick. And the numbers that I pretty much planned to hit anyway, kind of predicted that I would need to hit to win was pretty much spot on. I mean, I won by body weight with a 2.5 kilo meat conventional PR. It kind of worked out in my favor. So with squat, usually at the last few big meets I've done, I'd open with 717, jump to 782, and then my third would be over 800. This meet, I'm like, well, I just went halfway across the world, And training hasn't been great lately because my life has been what it is. So I'll go for a 793 squat. So I'll lower the first and second attempts a little bit. So I went 705 opener, which was a great call, and then I went 760 on my second, which was a good call. And then I jumped to 793 on my third, 15 kilos, and that worked out really well. Um, Textbook on every single one. They all felt fine. I definitely had over 800 on the day, but probably like 810. But 793 was a good call to be able to deadlift that what I did at the end. So bench training had really gone really bad actually. Not that I was like missing lifts or anything, but I just didn't feel strong or power. But I realized that because my lifestyle is the way it is, like I sleep very little, I train really hard, 2 to 4 hours most nights, like 6, 7 nights a week.
4 hours?
2 to 4.
Golly, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not really lately, the past couple of months, I really haven't been recovering how I usually recover. It's just kind of a byproduct of how busy things have been lately. It won't be like this forever, but I just have to suffer for now. And that is what it is. So like, and I'll not in addition to that, I also train all these extra sort of big compound movements, including like power cleans, and it kind of makes the training a lot harder. Like I didn't know how much doing like heavy power cleans actually affected the big three when you're trying to train the big three to that high threshold that I train it at. It actually has it has an effect for sure. And then I row every day too that I train. So I usually do cardio every day I train. I usually do a whole bunch of stuff and I train for hours. And that kind of masks, I think, my actual strength on the big three a lot of times. Because when I went to Korea and I stopped doing all that and I showed up on the meet, I did way better than what we were initially planning for and what I expected. And there was definitely more left in the tank. Like I think I was good for a meet, keeping all that in mind. When I get some actual rest and I can actually sleep a little bit more and don't kill myself for like 3 hours every day in the gym, I actually perform pretty good. So bench, we opened with, I think it was I want to say 407. Yeah, I think we opened 407. I want to say 44. No. It may have been 413, 441, and then 452. And this is close grip still, mind you. Like I'm not benching wide yet until next year for the Arnold. So that was actually really good. And 452 moved really good. Like it was easy. Probably had like 20 pounds more, like 474. For deadlift, warm-ups were moving okay. I mean, it wasn't like super speedy or anything, but they felt fine. And then I did my opener at 733, which is usually about what I open with conventional. Hit 733 pretty good. And then I jumped to 815, hit 815 really good. Actually moved really well, but I passed out after because I didn't brace properly for that, so I didn't have enough air, enough oxygen. So I kind of just blacked out. And I knew I was about to black out after I had put the weight down. So I saw where I was going to land and kind of premeditated it and just landed right there. And then I got up a second later and I looked at the wall to make sure I got the lift, and then I got the white lights. And then they were asking me if I wanted to like chill out or have water or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm good for one more. So I put in for my third attempt, I put in like, I think 837 and just kind of waited around. Keenan got his last deadlift of 815, which forced me to increase 2.5 to win by body weight, which is like, and our body weight difference was negligible. It was like 0.08 kilos. So very small difference. Not even like a pound, not even close. So like he hits 815, I put in 843. I flip the switch, I get a little angry, and then I move 843 really good with a little more weight left in the tank still. After passing out and all that, and got the lift, 3 whites, won the meet, and that's all she wrote.